Hey, how's it going, guys? Alcatel sent out their new RT8 tablet here. Now, this is pretty heavy. One of the reasons it's so heavy is that it has a 20,000 milliamp hour battery, as mentioned back here. That's quite a bit, especially for a tablet. There's some more specs here. I'm not going to go over everything, but it does mention it has a dual SIM, which is kind of interesting, and an 11-inch IPS FHD Plus touchscreen. In the box, got the tablet itself here. Going to put that to the side, and of course it's thick because it's rugged. So it does have like that rubberized finish back here. Looks kind of interesting, and it's going to be relatively thick. I'll get to this more in just a moment. Here's everything that comes in the package or the box, including a USB to USB-C cable, a wall outlet, USB-C wall outlet. Then there's hardware hooks, the screwdriver itself in here, along with 6 pieces of like screws. And then the leather hard belt is right here. We got a fusage bracket that we can install too, along with that, separately, not together. And this will definitely help for like carrying it around or using it as a kickstand, which I'll set up in just a moment, as well as a leather strap it seems like we have here. Then there's a SIM pin along with the user guide. Maybe I already said that one. So it comes with a lot of things, and these can be hooked onto the back here. There are 4 different screw spots to like put it in. And this is what it's like hooked up. It's not the best, and I have this upside down, but regardless, the main function is for it to be like used to hold on to if I'm working outdoors or something. That's a big benefit, and it's really clutch to have this so that it doesn't fall. And plus it is heavy, so holding it in one hand, it would be harder without this grip, without having this back here. And speaking of outdoors, this is meant to be used outdoors. Let me just take this out real quick. This is the screen protector. Actually, there is a screen protector that comes pre-installed on here, which is pretty nice. And I'll get to everything more in just a moment. I think can't really tell on video, but there is a screen protector on there. Having this leather strap on here honestly feels better than this being rugged. I mean, being rugged is still nice. It adds quite a bit of weight and depth to it, thickness. But I feel like if this fell on the corners here, it would be able to cover it or protect it. If it fell on the sides here, or even on the back maybe. The only concern is that the cameras might get hit because it is protruding a bit. But on the corners, there is a little bit of like rubber to protect it, or to try to protect it at least. Alright, so the screen is viewable outdoors surprisingly, and it looks brighter in person than in video, so that's a really good sign. Yeah, this is kind of surprising because I thought it wasn't that bright, but you know, it is daylight out, so no complaints there. And then here's the fuselage bracket, which I call a very fancy kickstand, just a fancy name for a kickstand, which also acts like a holder. You can hold this as if you're holding some luggage or something. A handle, basically. It can be used as a handle. And then it is really flexible, so you can have it tilt by a lot, all the way up to 180 degrees. I mean, this is pretty much having it flat almost. But yeah, it's very versatile, and it's really nice. Going back to the tablet itself, here on the top, we've got volume keys. I can't really see that. Volume keys, power button, which is also kind of textured. So on the right side, we have the SIM slot to take out, dual SIM slot. And then to put it back in, I'm just going to push it in. It should close nicely right here. And it closes up too, because this is water resistant and dust resistant, or dust proof. So there's that, and then there's also the Type-C port to recharge the tablet. And the cool thing about this is that this has reverse charging. So right now, I'm actually charging my other Amazon Fire tablet right now, as you can tell here. Maybe it's a little hard to, but yeah, it's charging there. But it is slow charging. It mentions it here too. Fire is connected to a low power charger, but still, reverse charging is better than no charging. So that's really nice because, again, it has a pretty massive battery inside, 20,000 milliamps. That's almost like a battery pack, pretty much. Not almost, but it basically is. Anyways, got some speaker grills here on the bottom. Nothing actually on the bottom itself, but on the left side here, there's some more speaker grills. So I'm wondering if they emit from both sides. I'm curious to see that. And then finally, we do have a front camera here, as well as 3 rear cameras along with a flash and AI camera. So one is 48 megapixels, the other is an AI camera. Okay, so here's the front camera. It seems like it's pretty smooth. like I'm getting 60 frames or something. So take that there, and it came out pretty well. Yeah, a little better than I expected. Wow, this rear camera is really good actually. For a tablet, it's way better than I expected. Probably the best camera I've seen on a tablet so far. Yeah, this is really impressive. Even from the corner, I can read the calories, total fat, sodium. It's like crystal clear. So the AI, whatever it is, it's doing a great job. It has 4x zoom, so it gets a little more blurry as I zoom in further, which is totally understandable. But still, I can still read everything here, and it's great. Came in a big box, as expected, with the bike mostly set up. Yeah, there's a box setting. These are the best speakers I've heard on a tablet. It's immersive. It's kind of punchy almost, like it's not tinny. So it has some level of bass a little bit. But yeah, overall it's very nice, very loud, very smooth. The only downside is that I can watch videos at full HD 1080p, especially at 60 FPS. But the one downside is that this has a wideband security of L3. And that means videos can only be played back at 480p on Netflix or other streaming platforms. And that's a darn shame, because otherwise I would have loved to use this for watching videos because of how nice the speakers are. And the screen is like nice and big too, being 1920 by 1200. But unfortunately, this is the one downside and probably even deal breaker. Maybe not so much because it is a rugged tablet. That might not be the first thing you're looking at on whether or not it has wideband level L1 or L3. But L1 would have definitely been nicer. The tablet doesn't have too much bloatware out of the box, and there's a ton of storage space left over. I think it's like over 243 gigs free out of 256 total. So still quite a lot, nothing to worry about here. And for the iOS or firmware, it's running on Android 13 here, and there's no updates, so this is the latest firmware. I'm not sure if there's going to be any other updates after this, maybe for like some bug fixes here and there, and that's it. So, not too bad. The other maybe slight downside is that there's only 3 gigabytes of RAM, or 6 gigabytes, sorry, on this tablet. Now, I'm not sure, it might have shown a little more on the actual listing itself, and that's because they try to combine VRAM with the regular RAM to make it sound like there's a lot more than there really is. And I think that's a shame because it can be a little deceiving, in my opinion. I mean, don't get me wrong, VRAM is still useful, but not to probably the average Joe as much. But besides that, performance is really good, and that's why I can kind of forgive them for having a little bit of a bias there, or like to be a little bit misleading. It can be a little forgiven. The good thing is that performance is buttery smooth on here. I haven't noticed any lag whatsoever, and everything works really well and smoothly. No matter what I do, wherever I go, well, I guess it lagged a little bit there, just going through some of the stories, but regardless, it works really well. Here's what I get on CPU-Z. The model of the CPU is an MT8781V/CA. And then the GPU is an ARM Mali G57 MC2. That seems like kind of a low-end GPU, but I could be wrong. This might work really well on here for all I know, because everything has been very smooth, way smoother than I think other tablets that have the same GPU and CPU. On Geekbench, the scores were all right. Single core isn't too bad. Multi-core score was even better, I'd say. They're still low, but overall performance is great on here. I have no complaints. First game here is RuneScape, and I noticed some frame rate drops, but it's still playable. Yeah, it's pretty smooth overall. Or decent. Next game here is Arena Breakout, and no major issues here. Just shooting at nothing. Here are the graphics settings. It's set to super high. And overall, it's running pretty well, I'd say. Not noticing any issues in game performance. I'm just doing really bad right now. Okay. So pretty much anything I'm throwing at it, it's able to handle relatively well. There's going to be some frame rate drops here and there on high-end games, but you can play mid-tier to high-end games on here, which is nice. And for a rugged tablet, this does pretty much everything I need it to. and it's really nice. The fact that I can view it outdoors is also a plus, along with having a nice rear camera. Everything's great about this. I really have no complaints. The only thing I'm not sure of at the time of this video is the price, because Alcatel sent this to me a little early before release, so I really can't say, I really can't speak on the price. But besides that, the only other rugged tablet that I checked out was the Douji R20 or R10. I'll have a video for that or an annotation up here. So let me know what you guys think. And as always, thanks for watching.